tormentor was thought to be a killer, returned from the grave. The experience nearly tore the couple apart. Between the world we see and the things we fear, there is a world of possibility. Montreal, Canada, during the autumn of 1996. Single mother Kelly Fontaine and her 6-year-old daughter Hayley fantasized about living in a big house.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
We would walk along and, pick a street, and she'd pick her favorite house and I'd pick my favorite house. That was kind of a game we always played. We both seemed to like this house, where every other street I would like one and she'd like a different one. I guess that's why this game came about, because we always dreamed of living in a nice house.
Someday we are going to have a house just like
this. For more than a year, Kelly had been dating a builder named Al Goodwin.
We seemed to just connect really well, and there was never anything we couldn't talk about. It was great.
Al told Kelly he'd found the ideal house for them. Coincidentally, it was the same one that she and her daughter had fallen in love with a few days earlier.
That's our favorite! Oh my gosh, we love that house!
Well, then it's perfect.
When we found out it was this house, we were just so excited about it.
So we thought this is the place we were going to be very, very happy there for a long time, yeah.
They immediately began making plans to decorate the nursery.
Our dream was to start another family, to give Hayley a brother or sister and have another baby. And everything just seemed so like it was going wonderful for us.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Let's check it out. We heard somebody coming up the stairs. And there was nobody there.
We looked all around and didn't see anyone or anything, and we just kind of said, well, it's an old house, maybe there's going to be noises we have to get used to.
Check over here.
A few weeks later, Al was at work and Hayley was at school. Kelly received a call from her doctor.
Are you sure?
She was pregnant.
Oh. That's great news. Yeah, okay.
I was just tidying up. I heard footsteps in the same room as me. I thought, okay, I'm not going to overreact. I just kind of pretended it didn't happen and carried on with what I was doing.
That evening, Kelly shared her good news.
I'm pregnant.
She also told Al about the eerie footsteps.
And I didn't want to make it like I was this nervous wreck kind of person, and our relationship living together was still so new that I didn't want to sound like I was crazy.
I mean, there's nobody there. I just hear footsteps.
I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
Maybe it's somebody walking outside.
Yeah, maybe.
Then I thought, yeah, there's something going on here.
Al knew there were no intruders in the house. He rang a friend for advice. Richard Palmisano worked as a paranormal researcher in his spare time. Perhaps Richard would be able to provide an explanation for the strange and frightening footsteps. Al Goodwin and Kelly Fontaine had moved into a new home in Montreal with Kelly's 6-year-old daughter. The happy news that Kelly was pregnant was tempered by the persistent and unsettling sound of footsteps in the new house. Al had enlisted the help of a friend, Richard Palmisano, a paranormal researcher.
They were very worried. They just signed a lease for a new place. They had a small child. They were concerned they were getting into something they shouldn't be getting into.
Al argued that there was a logical explanation for the sounds.
He was sort of hoping that it wasn't paranormal. He wanted to have some reasonable explanation for what was going on. I've investigated phenomena where it was just mice or, the house settling.
Then we can identify the cause.
But Richard believed there might be a spirit in the house, and that it was attracted to Kelly.
Actually, Kelly,
He suggested they set up a tape recorder in the house when it was empty.
the sounds seem to be coming from around you. Okay? That is, if there's anything here at all. Shut the door.
The next day, Kelly prepared to collect her daughter, Haley, from school.
I'm leaving now.
I deliberately walked with heavy footsteps down the stairs. And I slammed the door so that anything that happened past that point of the door slamming, they would know wasn't me.
That night after work, Al and Richard retrieved the tape recorder.
I did not touch the tape recorder. I did not rewind it. I didn't want to be the one to find out whether there was anything on it or not.
I'm leaving now.
What they heard surprised them all.
You could hear a tinkling that sounded like a charm bracelet. And then the footsteps stopped. It was almost not even a human sound. It was awful. It was just awful.
Then there's a sigh. And the sigh is almost like abandonment of a child. I looked at Al, and I didn't need to tell him he had something in that house. He already knew from the tape there was something unseen roaming that house.
sounds female.
Al had met the previous occupants, a woman and her 15-year-old daughter. He recalled that the daughter had worn a charm bracelet. He also thought that the voice on the tape sounded like hers.
Here's what I heard.
The girl and her mother had been forcibly evicted for failure to pay rent. Al had also learned that the mother had used drugs, dressed provocatively, and spent much of her time in bars. Her financial irresponsibility and the many boyfriends made life difficult for her daughter. Al said he'd heard that after moving to a flat, the mother had continued to frequent bars.
I knew the mother, and she wasn't a very good person.
Don't wait up and stay out of trouble.
She was into a lot of drugs.
The girl became increasingly desperate about her mother's destructive behavior. Too late, she decided that suicide was not the answer and rang emergency services. She was dead when they arrived.
I don't think she was really trying to kill herself.
I think you're right.
We kind of put two and two together, and the three of us believe the girl had come back to the house seeking her mother and most likely following Kelly around as a mother image.
Al just kind of really got curious about it. I was a bit curious, but I was much more afraid than I was curious.
During the days and nights that followed, Al and Richard left tape recorders running when the house was empty.
And when no one's around and the house is